Well guys, quick introduction on today's video. This was a day of complete loss. So I mean, I lost virtually everything in this tournament. And we're just gonna kind of run through the list. I'm gonna add in narration where I need to, but we're just gonna get this thing started. Here we go. Well, good morning YouTube. We are at Pinnacle Landing on a Tuesday, and we're jumping into the Tuesday morning tournament. This is a $10 tournament that happens every Tuesday on Lake Norman, and it has been, oh gosh, maybe a month since I fished this lake. Been hitting High Rock, which is nearby as well. And we're gonna go see what's going on. So we're gonna hop around. I'm sure there's a shad spawn somewhere, but we're gonna have to find it. And having not been out on the lake, I'm not really even sure what the pattern is, but we will hopefully decipher it quickly and get on some fish. And you know, it's always fun to throw your money in the pot and see where the chips may fall. So hopefully we do well today. Tournament's running from 6:30 until 11:30. It's a 3 fish limit. And yeah, we're gonna hopefully catch a few big ones. Let's go. Well guys, it looks like we got maybe 20 or so boats. I'm not exactly sure. But again, we're gonna be blasting off here in about 1 minute and check in at 11:30. It's a 3 fish limit. So hopefully we can catch 3. You know, I don't have any doubt we can do that. Whether or not they'll be big is anybody's guess. So Lake Norman is not my favorite lake for those watching. Although you do catch quite a few fish on this lake and get on some good ones. So here we go. So again, this video is about loss, and the first thing that I lost, I didn't know about until after the tournament was over, and that was audio on my GoPro. Now, had I known at the time that audio was not working on the GoPro, it might have clued me into certain other issues that I would face later on in the day. But things did start out really, really good. You know, I kind of decided, even though that I saw topwater activity on the points, I decided to run into some pockets and just check them. And was throwing topwater, covering some water. And as you see here, I quickly hooked up with a small fish and managed to boat this one and get it in the live well. And, you know, it's always good to get the first one in the boat because that calms your nerves and it gives you confidence in the pattern that you're using. Now, shortly thereafter, although you can't hear it, I got another blow up, and this one was a good one. This fish probably would have ticked the scales at 3.5 or 3 3/4 pounds. It was a good largemouth, and I believe that it hadn't spawned yet. It was quite thick and healthy looking fish, but you know, in a day where you experience lots of losses, you're gonna have some lost fish. And in this case, rather than boat flip it, I decided to play this fish, and that was a mistake. So fish number 2 got to swim away. So shortly thereafter, that fish swam back to its home, that I realized that my cranking battery had no juice. And I went to start my motor to change locations, and my graphs went dead, everything went dead. So that's never a good sign. There are solutions on how to kind of survive the day, and that's what we had to do. So I kind of continued to fish the area, and I ended up getting rewarded with 1 more fish. But then I really needed to take the time and do some rewiring. So what that involved was getting into my battery box and essentially removing one of the 3 batteries that I had on my trolling motor, rigging up those batteries for 24 volt, which obviously limits the power of the Ultrex, and then using that 3rd battery as my cranking battery for the remainder of the day. So we were able to do that. It did take us some time, but we were able to salvage the rest of the tournament and continue fishing. And from that moment on, the audio on the GoPro worked, and things were back to normal. So we just caught another one on topwater, but it was tiny. But it gave me confidence to keep throwing this thing because he smoked it. By the way, guys, the comedic irony of the shirt that I'm wearing was not lost on me, and I do find it kind of hysterical that all this stuff happened on a day where I was wearing that shirt. Well, guys, it's about 10:15. I do have 3 fish in the boat, but 2 of them are tiny. You know, that one I missed, I'm kicking myself over. I should have just boat flipped it when I had a chance, but I tried to play it. We are bouncing around trying to catch 2 more, basically, to call out those small ones. I do think it's going to take about 10 pounds to win today. Just the way those fish were biting early during that shad spawn. I'm sure somebody sacked them, but keep our fingers crossed, we'll pull it together. So my experience with that topwater just kind of led me to believe that that was the deal. I did throw, you know, a wacky rig, a swim bait, a jig a little bit, but the positive response every time I picked up that topwater kind of had me committed to that pattern, which probably was a mistake. Now I did mix it up a bit, and I threw a swim jig a lot, just because, you know, with it being a post spawn deal, the shad spawn and bluegill spawn, you know, was in the back of my head. So, you know, in the afternoon I did throw the swim jig around and skipped a bunch of docks, but no takers. So you know, we did our best to kind of cull out those 2 fish, but ultimately it didn't happen. Well, guys, we rounded the corner with a minute to spare. So I think we are going to be able to weigh in here. Good chance we lost. Spoiler alert, we lost. But hey, it was fun. Glad we can make it work. It didn't really look like we were going to continue to be able to fish, but after doing a little rewiring, we were able to keep going and make the best of a bad situation. So always fun to be out here on the water. I'm going to go ahead and you know, observe, weigh in, see what happens. I may weigh my fish depending on what I see, but I really suspect, like I said, that we're going to see about 10 pounds at weigh in. But you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we got lucky. So yes, we lost the tournament too. So of all the things, audio, fish, power, the tournament, they're all related. So I was a little bit wrong about the weight. Well, I was a lot wrong about the weight. It only took 6.96 to win. 3 fish limit, a little bit more than a 2-pound average. That one fish that I had hooked earlier, I would have had that weight. But hey, that's fishing. You're gonna lose fish along the way, and I'm sure everybody else in the tournament lost some fish. That just, you know, that's just fishing. We encounter fish losses all the time, but you know, we dealt with our losses today. We took it on the chin, we adapted, and we made a decent day out of what could have been a terrible day. We didn't let anything bother us, and you know, we had fun on the water. So I'm taking it in stride. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there next Tuesday if my work permits me to, and we'll see you guys out on the water.